Story that someone else needs to hear. Something you really anticipated. Anyone? Christmas?
Yeah, sure.
Anyone have anything?
Christmas?
No, not just for Christmas. Anticipate what we were talking about. Anticipating a story, something that was going to happen. Where you in your life were like, oh, I couldn't wait for this to happen, and it did.
Thinking about going as a student missionary to Japan way back in 1977. And all that it entailed, and not knowing the language at all, and then being pleasantly surprised that I could learn the language. And
how about you, Paul? Anyone else?
We have several kids around this table who are anticipating meeting cousins or nieces, and I'm anticipating meeting a grandson. And none of them have happened yet, so we're still anticipating. Every one of the students sitting at this table has anticipated their arrival to the United States as an exchange student. So, you know, it's kind of something that's big in their life.
Feliz Navidad. Pretty quite like
Nice. All right. There's lots of things I've anticipated or look forward to. I think one of the most painful times is when I was in the hospital and I had kidney stones. Bad. And I waited and waited and waited, and they weren't passing, and it was painful. And I really looked forward to the day that that pain was gone. And they were stuck, and it was like a boulder in there, and it was so I was not man enough to pass them myself, and so they brought in a laser and broke them up. And so I went under the laser, and they blasted it up. And anyway, I felt relieved. Much relief. Well, the Christmas story, when Jesus came, the people at that time were highly anticipating his coming. I mean, highly anticipating. If we remember back in Genesis chapter 3, God made them a promise and told them a promise. These people that had just messed up, failed miserably, chose the man over the woman. Yeah, she chose him, or he chose her, she chose food. You know, they didn't put God first. They hid from him. Things were bad at this point. And God says, okay, I promised that one would come. And so they waited. And they waited a long time. I mean a long time. Thousands of years long time. And so the verse that we're going to look at this morning is Isaiah chapter 9. And Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6 and 7. I'm going to refer back to these, but I'm going to read it now. But at the same time, God's people were in prison. They were in prison, or about to be in prison, and things were not going well for them. And here again is the promise. Something to look forward to highly anticipate. And he said, for a child will be born to us. A son will be given to us. And the government will rest on his shoulders. His name will be called Wonderful, Counselor, Mighty God, Eternal Father, Prince of Peace. There will be no end to the increase of his government or of peace on the throne of David and over his kingdom, to establish it and to uphold it with justice and righteousness from then on and forevermore. Okay? So here was a promise, and they were looking forward to it. And so even then, 1,000 years, 2,000 years have passed, and they're waiting. And I wanted you to anticipate, because they were really waiting. They needed this person to come. And it was inside, they needed him, and they hoped for him. And waited thousands and thousands of years. And finally he did. And there was to be relief. And so that's why we sing. And so our music's kind of going to go with the story this morning. So let's sing. Let's sing with our hearts. In Jesus' name, right?